Hello, welcome to Logan's Story. How you guys doing? Today, we're going to talk about a very, very important figure in history. And today, it's going to be very, very keen and sensitive. We're going to talk about these 4 things about this certain person. And you should be able to see it right now, right here, as we're speaking. Let's get ready to learn about the public figure, historical figure, and very important person that's inspired a lot in this pulp culture. Let's talk about Bass The following information is from the Oklahoma Historical Society. Deputy U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves, born as a slave in Arkansas, grew up in Lamar and Grayson counties, Texas, where he belonged to Colonel George R. Reeves, later to become the Speaker of the House in the Texas legislature. As a young man, Bass Reeves escaped north into the Indian Territory, and he became acquainted with the Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole. It is believed he served as a soldier with the Union Indian Home Guard regiments during the Civil War. After the war, Reeves settled down in Van Buren, Arkansas, as a farmer. On occasion, he would serve as a guide for Deputy U.S. Marshals who worked out of the federal courts at Fort Smith, Arkansas, into the Indian Territory. Reeves had once boasted that he knew the Indian Territory, like a cook knows her kitchen, and as a result of his skills and his knowledge of the territory, he was able to make substantial money as a scout and tracker for peace officers. In 1875, when Judge Isaac C. Parker took over the Fort Smith federal court, Parker commissioned Reeves as the Deputy U.S. Marshal. Let's go in depth of the struggle of this man. It's pretty simple. He was a slave, and anyone who knows anything about slavery wasn't very fun. Nothing about that, interestingly enough, is fun. It's nothing really interesting about slavery except for the fact of how inhumane it was. And judging by the fact of such a case of Bass Reeves, who you may know something about this man, especially since I've just talked about him, but there's a lot of stuff that's layered in depth about this man that seems a little more tough than what you could possibly imagine. Like, for instance, this. So he had the grit, he had the charm, he had everything that everything meant for a very, very prestigious lawman. In fact, he inspired this guy. Fortunately, that inspiration ran short because, well, Bass Reeves was black. But beside the point. Because of his struggle, he became a pretty noticeable lawman in order to inspire such a case in, well, the Lone Ranger. And because of that, you have one of the greatest interesting lawmen in history. And that all took place because, well, he had rough beginnings. Remember that. This is their beautiful baby, the lawman, Bass Reeves. His baby is so simple. It's to upkeep and hold the law as it were. And in which case, in terminology, ends up him becoming one of the best lawmen in history. At least in Oklahoma standing, which makes him kind of a namesake in many different households, or should be at least. But what does that mean? His baby was the law, even more so than his son. No shade thrown, really. But at the end of the day, he found something that he really loved to do. And at the end of the day, he became one of the most promissory and noteworthy lawmen and police officers in the 19th century, 20th century, 19th century. Correction. And because of this, he, inspired him a lot of different things. And became one of the most promissory people in the world. In terms of African American history and what that could mean for us and for you, is something very, very keen. What does that mean for anyone? What does that mean for us? This has been Their Beautiful Baby. Let's get into what does this mean for us. I think what you should take away from this is simple. Application for you and me. He was a fighter, a true one. He was kind of mean, a true mean. He was part of the West, an essential part of the West. Bass Reeves holds a true spirit of the African spirit. What it means to have tenacity in the wake of danger and everything in between. What it means to rise up and be the best you could be, even better than your superiors and your peers. And what it could possibly mean for you in terms of following something like this is to, become attuned to working hard and working smart too. If you can think outside the box in order to get up in the world, you'll get up in the world. See, right now it's not even about working hard anymore. It's about working smart. And how to get to the point where you need to be and where you want to be is all based on how hard you put in the time and how much you can take and how smart you're willing to work. And Bass Reeves done all this, and he became one of the most notable lawmen in all of history. And if his name's not going to be heard then, I pray that it's definitely heard now. Peace.